My mama lied. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed.
Definitely was doing that. You good?
Oh, I see what it's doing. Once you can share, KB, we going. Don't worry about this. I'm going to try to get this, but I'm not as worried.
We connected.
Okay. All right, we're good. Let me set the roll.
Y'all got it?
Yep, we're good to go.
All right, we're going live in 5 and starting with the 30-second countdown. Then after the countdown, it's automatically going to the camera. When it goes to the camera, your microphones will be live. Are you ready?
Always.
Yeah.
Okay. Going live in 5.
Okay, it's good. I like that countdown she has. I don't see it live on ours, so.
Goes back to the page. So that page.
Oh, no, no, their page going to be on. I'm saying the thing that I had. See, yep, we on it. Look. Oh, folks are ready. We're live on ours, too.
Going
Yeah.
live in 10.
All right, y'all. New home, new day. Welcome, 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 welcome back for the second time in the same day, Jackson, Mississippi, to the hottest show and the fastest growing show. Make it make sense, Jackson. I would say part 2, young man.
Part 2, man.
Part 2 for the day.
I changed that name to the Jump Out Boy.
But welcome back. For our listening audience, you were with us just 30 minutes ago as we closed out from our 90.1 platform. And I probably told you all before that we had some big announcements to make. We talked, KP and I. If you're just jumping on, I'm your host, your honored host, Tarek Abdul-Tawwab, along with my esteemed co-host, a.k.a. KP, a.k.a. Young Man. So when I'm saying young man, you know I'm talking to the young man sitting next to me. This is the same show you all listen to every day, guys. One thing we told him, KP, and you correct me if I'm wrong, young man, was that it's our responsibility to you all, when we've got information and when we have a responsibility to continue to explore platforms to ensure that your voice, our voice, is always heard and you always have a voice through us.
Right.
And so I alluded to us moving to a platform as well. We come to you Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays from 90.1. But we talked to you about building to a platform so we can make sure, if you already remember the elections, where we had big names running against each other for primaries. You, as one of the, if not the fastest growing audience in Mississippi, if not in these United States, you were not able to call us on that day and tell us what you felt about the elections that were coming up. The phone lines were not working. And we realized that even though we know technical difficulties happen everywhere, right? And that's something you got to be ready for. If you put all your eggs in one basket, then you're not able to reach your people at the level you should be able to reach them. So here at We Believe Digital, which is where our shows will be coming from on Thursday and Friday, along with our shows Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Here at We Believe Digital, this is a platform under Socrates Garrett where we started our journey, to be very honest with you. So this is a studio where we began, KP and myself, along with others, honing our skills as podcasters, not knowing Make It Make Sense Jackson was going to get as big as it got and was going to have as many of you all jump on with us as you did. But
yeah, it started as like a little room conversation, like you told me. It started as a little conversation in the room, and it turned into something big.
That's right.
That's how stuff starts. But when you really put your mind into it,
that's right.
It's really in your heart. That's how it comes to this. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be for the memories of it. You got to really want to be in the struggles of it, the good in it, all the whole nature of it. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. You have to be in it. So again. This was a home that we loved when we were there. 90.1 brings us straight into the pulse of the people. But We Believe Digital has built a network and a brand that is also broken through, not just in online radio, not just in podcasting online, but with the professional approach and with a group around you that's willing to push your message as far as it needs to go. And you all are the ones that caused this to be necessary. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was fine for KP and I at first. But the more information we came across and the more you all responded, the more we recognized that if we're not, excuse me, guys, if we're not looking for a way to reach you outside of one medium, then are we really doing what we're supposed to be doing? So, We Believe Digital, they're just it's a broadcasting, it's a network where if you look at it and if you know Socrates, then you know he's somebody that allows us to be ourselves. There are no restraints. You want to tell truth about folks, but if you know us from Make It Make Sense Jackson, you know we're facts-based only. We don't get into name calling. We don't care about what you're doing after hours. What we care about is what interactions and what are you doing with the vote and the leadership that Black folks here entrusted in you.
You see it, we're going to see it.
And when we say something, say something. And you all have stood up to the challenge and made Make It Make Sense Jackson into the leading voice of 90.1. We're not stopping there because it's you that we're trying to reach. So now we need you to make sure that you jump on the We Believe Digital on Thursdays and Fridays and make sure that same passion we done carried all through the week, we can.
Look, man, when you see Make It Make Sense, you already know what's up, man. Come on, we ain't got to say too much. You know by now. You follow us for the longest y'all been following us. Even if you knew, you gonna find something about us that's gonna be like, yeah, wherever they go, we follow.
And think about it. You have to listen. It's almost like, I don't know if you're a ball player, but you may play in the NBA, but then you got the Rutgers, right? So nobody makes it if they didn't play at the Rutgers, right? The Rutgers, you're not calling the same fouls. It's not in the same setup, but the professionalism and the skill set is out of control. And that it's the legitimate place where basketball players go to be tested to see if they can bring it. And that's what We Believe Digital is. It's a place where you're not going to be coddled, you're not going to be pampered, but what you are going to do is you're going to be given a chance to reach the people, and you can do what you do with it. You want to be celebrated. You don't leave your people ever because you're just tolerated. You accept that because that's the hard work we'll do for you. So we're going to keep going in avenues that we're just tolerated. But we're going to also try to make sure that you get celebrated, because when we get celebrated, the community gets celebrated.
Right. And the community is not celebrated enough.
Nah.
Y'all not talked about enough. Nobody, it's a lot of these platforms that been here since before Make It Make Sense, like WLBT, they don't really talk about it much, y'all, as much as they should. And sometimes y'all got to come for us with information that they should be telling y'all about. So that, you know what I'm saying, it gets that bad. And a lot of people not studying up for stuff that y'all feel some certain way about. Y'all want to know information. Like if y'all go to the city council and y'all want to understand what something means, they probably ain't gonna tell you. You know what I'm saying? How like just how Ted went in there and said it's the culture of you people.
Yes.
One of them black representatives that say anything to y'all. Y'all ain't probably come to Make It Make Sense to figure out what was really going on. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. And that's really, and so another thing, and excuse me, you all, these allergies still killing me over here, just like they were earlier in the day. But that's one of the things that we have to talk about. And what was the last thing you just said, KB? You sparked something to me when you said it.
When they was in the when they said it's the culture of you people, and
y'all
didn't get to see a black representative being a black representative as they should be when you said that.
Yeah.
And that is why y'all so desensitized to y'all is now, because y'all used to that being y'all leaders and y'all handlers. I ain't gonna say leaders no more. That's a handler. Like y'all, you know what I'm saying?
And
when it's real, and when it's real to somebody that really been through it, and they ain't scared to say nothing, you know what I'm saying? You get up, make it make sense.
listen, and that's 100% real. And this is one of the reasons why I say, if people have to turn on Make It Make Sense to find out the things that their leaders and their preachers and their imams and their politicians should be telling them, we've got a problem. That's why, KP, I told you I had such a big problem. I'm looking at my computer here, but one of the things that I had the biggest problem with was where you saw the Mississippi Today as in a lot, not just them, but Mississippi Today set to receive a reward. And the award they were receiving was something that had to do with, and I'm looking it up here, but it's something that had to do with journalistic integrity, right? And it was right here. Hold on one moment. It was
journalistic integrity.
Yes, it was.
Award for what?
So basically, they were getting an award for reporting, right? Now, Anna Wolf got an award, I believe, a Pulitzer for reporting, and we watched them almost fire her, trying to sue her. They wanted to lock her up at one point. So do I think that individual person deserved that? Yeah, that's a person. But listen, we've gotten, and this is important to say, we've gotten here and we've shown you how our administration has brought on a man who, Surinder Singh we're talking about, on his transition team, who said that Charles Hawthorne put his own life up against a six-pack of beer after one of the Indian store owners murdered him and got charged by the state of Mississippi for the murder. He was brought on the Mayor Horne's transition team. The Indian Store Owners Association have not been friendly to Jackson. Former Councilman DeKeitha Stamps is known during council meetings for begging them almost to pull out harmful products. Like back then it was caffeine-related products.
So this is a part of the program called Respect Our Black Dollars.
He is, that's right, along with a lot of other brothers.
Yeah.
Respect Our Black Dollars, if you all don't remember it, Respect Our Black Dollars, DeKeitha was part of it, and a lot of other community members were part of it. And they were going protesting outside of the stores. Got 2 stores shut down, I believe. But that was under the Lumumba administration, when the mayor's administration was much more friendly to holding stores accountable for violating rules and ordinances. Now I've been told by these same folks that when folks try to hold people accountable, the code enforcement department just doesn't seem motivated. And that's something that you call us and you'll tell us whether that's the case or not. Nothing has changed. New platform, better call in, and your voice is going to be heard at a magnified basis. 601-387-2684. 601-387-2684. And the young man will read it later on in the show. So if you know something that we don't know, we're going to bring the same legitimacy that we bring Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We're going to bring the same platform where we'll let you call in whether you agree or not and let you say what you need to say. And we're going to put these facts out the same way. But Mississippi Today, this is Tariq Abdul-Tawwab saying this, Make It Make Sense. Mississippi Today, nor any mainstream news team should be getting any award at all for any type of integrity or journalism. Not even for journalism.
No.
Because if you can come to Make It Make Sense and see us make a big deal out of Republicans being told to vote on the other side, out of Downtown Jackson Partners putting $250,000 behind John Horn, and then us watching Downtown Jackson Partners get off and get all these deals and smile. Jeff Good got him there looking like Curious George, smiling every 5 minutes because downtown Jackson Partners benefiting greatly. And y'all have to excuse my 90.1 is a little different, so I got to look in the right place. But you see Jeff Good standing there with Curious John, just sitting there while Jeff Good and downtown Jackson Partners rack up. Then you turn around and we can't even get a skating park.
No.
Yeah, if you thought you were getting something different, I'm sure you would have cut us off earlier in the day during the first show.
No, we did get
What's that?
change the working age to 14.
We got an encouragement. Have you ever heard of that? We lost 17 schools. If you're new to this platform, but not new to We Believe Digital, let's take a little walk backwards and understand how we got here, the young man and I, right? 17 schools shut down. The previous mayor reached out to then Senator Horn for help. Senator Horn told him it's too late, buddy. That ship has sailed. I asked the question at Dewing Hall and it wasn't refuted, it wasn't denied, right? During the mayoral debate at Dewing Hall, I raised my hand and asked the question, right? From then, you just see every single, you come in office and immediately the airport land around the airport. And so I wonder, when you see Jackson Airport posting on their Facebook page, look at all of this newness coming around the airport, who's going to benefit off of that? And I'm not saying we're not, but I want to know who's going to benefit, because all of a sudden, after your city council and your mayor agreed, Tina Clay was the only one that opened her mouth, and she was told by a lawyer almost to stop asking questions. Remember what he said? Well, this is the best deal you could get.
Yeah.
Rankin County will never let you build up, so you better take what they're offering you. That didn't even make sense. That didn't even make sense.
As if your brain is so small that you really believe that I believe that's the best deal I can get. Like, they just come in y'all home and try y'all. Like,
why would Rankin County, if they're about to be able to do whatever they want to us, why would they offer us a moonlight deal at the last minute? If in another day or two, so what the lawyer, let me slow down, what the lawyer told Tina when she asked, well, why don't we continue to fight for us to have full autonomy over the airport and our land? She was told because for 60 years, I believe, Rankin County, or since the 60s, Rankin County supervisors have had to sign off on anything that happens at the airport. And after this is what the lawyer told the city council. After this last step in court, if you all lose this, well, he didn't say if you lose, he said you're gonna lose. And once you do, Rankin can do whatever they want. So you might as well take that deal. So that was the equivalent of your lawyer at court telling you, man, listen, the judge is going to be able to sentence you to anything he wants tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So you might as well take this life for stealing some gum right now. What? You threatening us that we're going to get a worse deal than us not benefiting off of our land. Then you go to the water and you immediately start calling for people to come on and buy our water. You hit that auction block immediately. And you remember, if you were with us earlier in the day, you jumped on late, you suffered a little bit. If you were listening to the show earlier, you saw us give you newspaper article after newspaper article after newspaper article. Mayor Horn at Dewing Hall, I will make sure that the city keeps control over its water. August, now he's in office. Who wants a public-private partnership? Nobody was buying. He strutted you up and down the stroll. Like we downtown Fondren back in the day.
Yep.
He strutted Jackson up and down the stroll. Who gonna buy him? Look at her, thick legs, nice shape, good smile. Who gonna buy him? No takers wanted no public-private partnership. They wanted it all. Mm-hmm. You got $750 million left, and you done raised those people's bills by 12%. You got them paying $40 for accessibility fee. They're paying $3 for in Ridgeland. We want that money. You already get, and we got data centers coming. We want that water authority. We want it all, John. We don't want to share anything with you and those Negroes. We want it all. John said, well, let's give it to him. I think the water authority is going to save us millions. This is what your mayor said. He went from Dewing Hall, I promise that Jackson will regain control of our water, to I think giving it to the water authority will save us millions. Save us on what? It's our water. Hold on, that's not the end though. Then, in the heat of the night, they take away the little power that John did negotiate for. You make it make sense, Jackson.
I just like, I mean, you know, I like.
You can't, we believe that much.
No, I like to make funny comparisons of, like, you know, I know a lot of people seen Baby Boy, but he Jody and we Yvette. You don't mean you just saying that. You just saying that's what y'all need to be like right now.
That's right.
Y'all didn't even make it to Yvette yet. Y'all still believe it.
Y'all still believe that, and that's a problem. Y'all still believe, and we have to be better as a people. And it's not, we're not attacking, man. We're a community here. You all know from my Make It Make Sense, nothing changed. We're laughing, but we're laughing at the people that think it's okay to play with you all. While other people in the beautiful set, and when you look at this studio, We Believe Digital, this is the way you expect a message like this to be embraced to you. Right? No one talking about someone drinking and driving or what they doing with their mistress or who stole money. We don't play those games. We dig into information and we go into people's campaign records, their finance records, and we just tell you who they're dealing with. So you don't think that your spouse is coming home every night when in fact they go into 7 different people's houses and giving them all of them and then coming back to you and telling you you should be happy with the crumbs left over because that's what your man has told you. You're fickle, you're uneducated, and you should be happy with the crumbs you're getting. And we indeed are getting crumbs and maybe less than that. And that's factual. That's not a mean statement. Look at everything that millions of dollars that flow through city council appropriations daily. And look to see how many of us are on there. Bellhaven, they're blocking off streets and creating whole new realities. Prado he supported the mayor. Now Gabriel Prado is building $1 million loft right over there on Meadowbrook and State Street. He won't even give some of the black contractors that have been in this city for years working. He won't even get. I drive up there and I got him on video, and his black contractors sitting out front, sitting out front like beggars, yelling over the fence. Brandon, man, come out here and talk to me with big trucks would work. Because you thought that voting John Horn would give you an opportunity at that good Madison and that good Ridgeland money. And you made the mistake of not understanding that Madison new bricks, them Ridgeland nice streets that are getting paid all of a sudden, it comes from you, not vice versa. Remember Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry. You Stacy. And they tricked you into believing that beautiful coat you had is garbage and none of the girls will like it. And you sold it to them for $10. And now they're strutting around town in your city. Walking downtown, you see guppies with their children on their neck, moving around. Why you couldn't move through Jackson with your children on your neck? Why couldn't you enjoy Jackson that same way? Why is that within a month, all of State Street, all of downtown is getting paid beautifully? We all know a request for proposal don't take no month. You can't get a request for proposal in a month. How can you start paving and fixing all of downtown within 30 days of a new mayor? They think you're stupid. They think we're stupid. You watching the library being built up, raised? We're not even through the first year. How did this many appropriations go through the first year, but you couldn't build up Jackson in 20, 30 years since Dale did? You couldn't build up Jackson all this time. But John Horn comes into office after the Northside Sun begs you to vote Republican so you can, a Democrat to sway it over. They tell you you got to vote for John Horn. Everyone attacks the previous mayor, get him out of there. And then all of a sudden you wonder why things ain't going well for you, Jackson. You've been duped.
Mississippi Shuffle.
Mississippi Shuffle. The beautiful thing is the emperor is walking by you actively saying he has clothes on and you can see he has no clothes on. So you have an opportunity to call that emperor out. You have an opportunity to show up along with us to city council meetings when we show up in mass with our audience, wearing shirts that say Stokes, I'm in your ward. Hartley, I'm in your ward. Whichever ward you're in, I'm in your ward, right? And let them look at you in that audience and understand you're not just going to keep making decisions that don't benefit us and getting away with it. That's the purpose of Make It Make Sense, Jackson. Because once you make it make sense, we always say that we're pretty sure that you'll know which way to vote and which way to move. But one thing we got to bring to an end are these politicians that come to you and this is their spiel to you. I was black yesterday. I'm black today. When I was drinking coffee, I was black. I drove through Madison black. And God willing, the creek don't rise, I'm going to be black tomorrow. Please vote for me. Ain't told you one thing they've ever done or they plan on doing. Remember how old folks used to tell us, get them, if someone gets you once, shame on them. If they get you twice, shame on you. I think it's fair to say, young man, we're at the shame on you part, Jackson.
Not only did they didn't tell you nothing, you didn't ask.
You didn't ask.
It's like you just putting all your. It's like when a mother brings her kittens to the owner. Imagine if the owner just take all the kids and just throw them out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You not. In order for a cat to bring her kittens to the mother, she has to trust that mother.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah.
We call it inspecting what we're expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a phrase that I use, I'm going to continue to use with you, world. Inspect what you're expecting. You do it with your check. I guarantee you, when you get your check, you look at them hours on the back and see all 40 hours on it. You tell your child to clean up something, you come through the house looking all around, but your mayor tells you, I'm going to do something. Done changed 7 times. You got to inspect what you're expecting. You got to look at how these relationships are getting made. You got to look at why people, your mayor came on and said, Baba Nasi and Prado. Said 2 words to you, totally disconnected from you. Where's your red line? Baba Nasi is an Indian businessman that has bought up 500,000 square feet of downtown. I'm sorry, 500,000 square feet of how big is downtown? The Regions building up. Then you have Gabriel Prado, who's responsible for Don Gabriel gas stations. You see them popping up all over Jackson. charging you for Black Excellence Water. And I've reached out to the owners. They don't seem to have any knowledge of selling it to this business. And I know the owners personally through business. I've purchased from them before. Had no idea of selling it to Don Gabriel gas stations. But at every Don Gabriel gas station, they got that Black Excellence Water right up front. They paying people to jump on in line. Don Gabriel's popping and you young people getting played. I got a son and two sons at, two sons at 2, the one's on the way out and one on the way in. And I tell them every day, man, stop letting them clown you at these schools. Got you not paying attention to anything that's going on. Letting them get on there. You got other young Black people jumping on these sites talking about, Don, Gabriel Prado's popping. You don't even understand gentrification. And your daddy or mommy ain't saying nothing, and that's fine. That's what we're here for. We're here to teach. Like the sister called us today early on the show and slowed me down, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And explained to our audience just what gentrification is. When they raise the taxes ultimately on these houses, and these poor people that have lived there can't afford these new taxes, couldn't pay for their whole house. And we're being gentrified by a member of Mayor Horn's transition team.
Yep.
We Believe Digital. I don't know if you're used to this type of truth, but I promise you, you're going to get it on a regular basis, Thursdays and Fridays. And there's not a better man that has stood on what he wants to say, not what people want him to say. And that's why we came to this network. So yeah, we're going to look right at what's happening. Your city council, your mayor putting forth an ordinance. When you got, who's the guy that I was talking about? Grant Callen from Empower, Mississippi, one of the leading forces for school vouchers that hurts the Jackson public school system and all public schools in Mississippi, who's a ruling elder at Redeemer Church right over there in Jackson. And then he's got a member of his church, Candace Robbins, who's a music instructor. And all of a sudden she gets put on the Mississippi Charter School Authorization Board. Next thing you know, Chastain gets shut down. The only school that had a parent program, right, to help parents understand how to be better under this stress, gets shut down. Redeemer Church has been sitting there through all of their problems and never offered to fix a roof. The moment that school got shut down, Redeemer snatched it up and are fixing everything. How godly is that? Make it make sense, Jackson. I'm gonna ask the real quick, how godly is it to watch a school shut down knowing parents need that location? And then all of a sudden you got enough money to make it into a school that you want part of Mississippi Association of Independent Schools, otherwise known as the overseer of private white institutions created to segregate Black and white children. That's who Redeemer asked to be a part of it. They probably made it. Folks sitting on their board that work at schools like Jackson Academy, embedded in your city. And I watched 30 meetings, and this Black woman did not say one word in any meeting that I watched. Token is what it looks like. And that's from research, watching these. Went to JSU, historically Black. See, there's somebody inside the house holding the door open. The phone call coming from inside the house, Mississippi. Yeah, we know what these monsters have done in the South, and we know what they continue to want to do. The far right makes it clear what they want. And a lot of these Democrats in office that are not Black go along with them, and the ones that are Black have been there for 30, 40 years and haven't done one thing for you except been Black. And make it make sense.
Yep. Straight handlers.
They've been Black as they've handled you. They've been, but I hear people running for office, KP, and when they're talking about that, can you imagine this? Your qualification should be, I put forth initiatives that tried to force a change for my people, whether they won or lost. Instead, it's I went to Ole Miss and I was the only Black person in the program. What the? Is this a Twilight Zone? How does that make you more? So this is what my question is. How many hate incidents did you make them aware of at Ole Miss? Because that should be the only flex you're doing, right? I was at Ole Miss and I brought light to this many hate incidents and this many levels of discrimination at Ole Miss. You just telling me you survived amongst white people as the only Black, that means you know how to shut your mouth. Now tell me more about you. That don't mean you bad, but tell me something you learned how to do amongst all these white folk. Because otherwise it just sounds like you think you're better because you went to school with white folk. Not because the level of education was better, not because the school was better, but because you went to school with white people at Ole Miss. Make it make sense. How does that make you better? I survived going to school with them. Well, in West Jackson and South Jackson, they survived being oppressed by them on a regular basis, schools shutting down, people that were paid to do a job and none of them doing it. A mayor that has sat on the chair with the Housing and Urban Development Committee, was on peer review. Please look it up. PEER Review Board. They were set to oversee corporations like Mississippi Housing Corporations. Mississippi Housing Corporation are the ones that lots the money is supposed to be overseeing Rebelwood and Chapel Ridge and all these places that turned into a mess, right? John sat on the board that overlooked these people. And when Blossom apartment residents did nothing, and 100 families got kicked out, do you know how hard it is to find a new school, a new place to live for your child, or to find, acclimate your child into a new school within 5 business days, bro?
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to get to your job if you were carpooling, find a way on the bus, on J-Train. You know how hard that is within 5 days? Not to mention, you know how many people are living with a family member and their name's not on a lease? You know how many children have moved in with an aunt just so they can go to school without being hurt? Know your community. And what did our mayor get them? 5 days. You ran on, I have all these relationships across the aisle. Well, where they at, Blossom Apartments? Because we helped them. We were at Blossom Apartments,
It's out there
supporting organizations,
every day.
Poor People Campaign, Mississippi Rapid Response Coalition, People's Advocacy Institute, giving out fried chicken, giving out pizza, giving out water.
In the rain, in the heat,
Beautiful apartments.
in the
Why,
cold.
yeah. Why do you think they wanted those people out of those apartments? Make it make sense, Jackson. Then Mayor Horn's transition, remember the housing transition team? The housing transition team was littered with people that work for companies that buy dilapidated properties and sell them high. Buy low, sell high. That's who's on the housing transition team. Where are the lawyers? Where are the professors? Where's Tulu? Where's Alcorn State? This is the whole state of Mississippi. Where's Pineywood? Where's Jackson State? Where's Valley State? Where are these people that are so smart in all of these places to tell us what's happening? Because if the young man and I can see it, why the hell is Mississippi Today getting an award and they ain't told you none of this? They let those Blossom apartment families get kicked out, WLBT, WAPT, not one of them said one time that a man with 30 years experience at the Senate level with these many ties to the HUD community should have been able to get more for them people than 5 days and get out. You got people that were homeless. Now again, you can say that's not the mayor's job. That's like Michael Jordan going to be a mentor and the kids stink at basketball and he don't even try to help them. Instead, he tells them they're doing great. Make it make sense. You don't have 30 years of that experience, run off of it. But again, when you think people are fickle and uneducated, then that's what you do. And I think, I've always told you, I think that fickle and uneducated comment was a comment he made to some of his friends in the legislative body, the Republicans, when they were asking him, how in the name of God are you going to get these people to accept everything you're about to do to them?
That was his ritual.
Yeah, his answer to them is they're fickle and uneducated. That's how.
He proved his point.
Well, his point's running into a big obstacle called Make It Make Sense Jackson. Right? He definitely was proving that point, but the people...
Yeah, we surely ain't feel
And the people, talk about, this we're going to do the same thing on Make It, on We Believe Digital. We're going to show up, we're going to turn out, we're going to push it so that we get answers and we get accountability from our city. We Believe Digital platform just allows us to do it at a higher level, at an embrace level, at a level where you'll start seeing these clips come out showing you everything that's being done. Every lane has its purpose. You get what I mean? And God put you in positions for a reason. And the one thing you have to understand is the more our voice tries to get silenced, folks calling 91, big politicians, top of the line, Bo Brown calling 90.1 and asking him, why are you letting these people say these things about John Horn? Well, because they're true, Representative. You don't notice it's heating up. It's not simmering down. And what was the response even at 90.1 from the leader there at the moment? Well, if it's the truth, what's the problem? Why don't you come on and refute it? Remember we said Mayor Horn has these relationships that are gentrifying the city. He was told, I heard it on the show, well, Mayor Horn needs to come on. He came on and validated what we said. He said, Marvin Ossie and Prado.
Make it even better. The phone line was off. Oh, my God.
Okay, so look, that's another thing.
Jeez.
Accountability. He came on 90.1 on someone's show. And we thought about the elections. And the saddest thing about that is we weren't even looking to split to the elections. We're just looking to make sure your voice is being answered. And for some reason, that threatens people. And he wasn't the only one. Let me just be fair to Representative Bo Brown. He's not the only one. I've been on the phone in there and I've heard, when we sit in there, you sit in the studio, you can hear the caller screaming. I've heard politicians screaming on the phone. And I know a lot of people, they've told me, yeah, this person has a problem with you. But mind you, when you look back and you listen to us, we don't talk about people drinking or drugging. We don't talk about people's sexual habits. We don't talk about who people hang with. We talk about facts of what you did and how it affects us. And if you don't want the people to know that, then you're part of the heist. And that's the beautiful thing, people. When you see people push against us, and that's why. You don't have to ask why when you see people push for us. I think it's clear. But the last step that we talked about earlier today, if you're continuing, was when Mayor Horn came out and said, now, finally, I don't see the water system ever returning to Jackson. So that's the last step that we want. What we're pushing forward is an understanding. And what would you say, KP, the biggest benefit of We Believe Digital and being able to reach the people on this level is? Because you know some of the obstacles we've gone through.
I want to say the biggest thing a part of being we believe digital. My fault. I'm finna say make it sense.
Yeah.
We believe digital. I want to say the biggest thing about this place is that where you can usually say certain stuff, you can say here. You know what I'm saying? You can voice your opinion at a higher perspective. You see what I'm saying? And it's not going to get a bunch of people calling in and saying why he talking, why he saying this, why he saying that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. No, 100%. And then it gives us, it also extends the time in which we can interact with folks. Because earlier today, if you were on with us at 90.1, then you realized that we started the show and we ran out of time, as we usually do, because we're going over things that are so important to you all. So we really didn't get time to touch on some other things that are happening, but they're things that we can go over because this was supposed to be a quick pilot where we talked to you all for 30 minutes, but you know that very little that we do is quick. But there's other things happening in the city that we get to look at. There's a lot of other legislation moving. We've got to be very aware of what's happening. We've got our federal government saying they want to involve themselves in adoption. Here in Mississippi, your hackers should be up. Anytime they start talking about putting our children anywhere.
Who want to go for that?
The federal government is talking about they are going to start expediting adoptions, getting involved in moving children into houses, into families quicker. Which would sound like something good on the front end, but given the government of Mississippi's track record, I would be very worried about that. I would be extremely worried about that personally. And it's a simple bill where they're simply talking about they are going to get involved with federal funding to help the foster care system and to place children faster, right? But I don't know that placing children faster. You have some of these situations of these parents abusing these children. You have some white parents that have been taking children.
Money.
Yeah.
Okay, what's one of the main reasons why kids have to go into foster homes?
Well, realistically, it's because their parents are unable to care for them for one reason or another. That's right.
That money, go fix the home that they came from. Oh, they about to put them up for foster. I mean, they always skipping over the main problem and patching a hole with some tape, some teacher tape. You know what I'm saying? One of the main vessel to that is that it comes from the home that they came from.
That's right.
Why don't you worry about that first?
That would be too much like right. And to the young man's point, and then if we're over 50 here talking, if we're over 40, if we're over 30, and if you're educated through life, a shame. Shame on us. Because those questions should be questions that we're asking, right? Why are you talking about placing folks in? Why is Jackson talking about putting kids to work at the age of 14 instead of talking about creating school systems, creating paths for them to be successful? Why is it that our children have to work for the good white folk or the good rich folk of Mississippi? 14 years old, you should be going to school. Your mind should be growing. Not you as a city council and all seven of you, and the mayor, going to encourage people with an ordinance, come hire our babies at 14 so they can come work for you. And then you see when Hinds County starts talking about their partnership with Accelerate Mississippi, they talk about fixing plane engines. Well, we know that's not that 14-year-old is going to be fixing plane engines because they can't go into that type of dangerous situation. So you want to have our children cleaning up streets and cleaning up behalf after the real citizens of this state. You're trying to take it right back to Reconstruction where you had a labor shortage. And now this is how you fill that labor shortage. And if you wonder how that is, Mayor John Horn brought on Kathy Northington from the Mississippi Economic Council. Who is their birth child? Who did they birth out? Accelerate Mississippi with Governor Tate perched right atop of it. Governor Tate's running around, and what was their goal? To get that working age down so they could fix the labor problem in Mississippi because they ran out of straw bosses.
The labor problem.
Yeah, the labor problem is when not enough
people work.
Yeah, not enough people to work for them. Yes. Yeah, to do medium labor jobs.
Okay. Not enough mature people. What you say? Well,
not enough people, period. I mean, the history of Mississippi is they had babies out in them cotton fields at 6, 7, 8, right? Helping their parents. So we know good and well sharecropping continued. Okay. Black kids didn't go to school because they had to help. They're trying to bring this back to those sharecropping times. When your mommy and daddy said, listen, boy, I know you want to learn. You know, my great-grandfather used to tell me this story. I know you want to learn, but I need the help in the field. You got to come back. And that son put his chest out, not like these weak leaders that we see in their 70s and 80s here, because the real stand-up men have died, have passed on, or have been taken out or assassinated. Brother Medgar, Vernon, for the real ones that would stand up have been taken out, so these weak-backed men have moved into their places, and that's who you see ruling from Dr. King's time all the way up to Obama. And whenever you ask them what they've done, you ever notice that these politicians today either tell you about what they did during the King era or about President Obama. That whole 40 years they just missed. They missed the war on drugs. They missed the truth in sentencing. They missed the super predator. They missed the little boys and little girls coming up missing. They even missed talking about Katrina, the pandemic. They don't talk about any of that when they were supposed to be leading.
They missed the Hard Seller Act.
The Hard Seller Act. They didn't even tell us when our civil rights of 63 were being traded away to Indians and other brown and black people being invited in finally, because 1964, we just got civil rights, right? Here in Mississippi, the mom and pop stores were about to start popping up everywhere. We were going to take control of our community.
All of it.
What happened in 65 that your leaders, your professors, your teachers just don't seem to want to tell you about? The Hard Seller Act. They didn't allow black and brown immigrants in before. They bought it mostly from Europe. So with the Hard Seller Act of 65, ironically, a year after the Civil Rights Act, they invited black and brown families in. But they invite whole families, not individual immigrants. Business families, not just to take advantage of the entrepreneurial loosening up against black people, but to take advantage of the loans to go into the schools, into the business programs. And the one requirement they said is you treat those black people like we treat them. That's the first one. We're deep in the South here, Mr. Patel. If you will come down here, Mr. Singh, you treat them. Yeah, we say names. The Patel family's strong here. Surrender Singh is the one that represented that. You got the wrong network if you think we do innuendos. We don't. You're worth more than that. And if you got leaders out here that are doing innuendos, tell them to put some steel in their back or move out the way and let some people that do want to stand up stand, right? So you got these folks that are sitting there, and the only requirement was you treat these black people like we treat them, which wasn't a problem for folks coming from the Indian continent business district, because they have such a horrible caste system of racism there that it's easier against Africans, that it's easy for them to come here and treat us like that on Raymond Road. We got callers all day that call us and tell us they're being chased out of stores with sticks because they asked why the price today wasn't the price on that product yesterday. That's how they're treating a lot of us in that business district in India and a lot of their own countrymen. Of a few weeks or something really changed the entrepreneurial opportunities for black people after the federal like tomorrow. That's just you letting power structure know how to be with these black people. And we know from the foolish Irish that came over here doing that, their brethren are back in Ireland looking at them with shame, saying you're doing the same thing to black folk there that England did to us. The real Irish are saying that. And these fools come over here and they get greedy and they see how much they can make off of hurting black people and they jump right in. And now what's happening in Jackson is you have plantation Democrats running Jackson doing the same thing. This current administration, this current city council, sitting right up at the Indian church. Look at our website, Make It Make Sense Jackson, JXN. Brian Grizzell, Mayor Horn, sitting right up there with the same folks that said Charles Hawthorne traded his life for a six-pack of beer because the man executed him without saying a word, and witnesses in the store saw it. And these are the type of people you bring on your transition team. People that say that a black man's life ain't worth more than a six-pack of beer. And if you're stupid enough to believe that the death penalty should be given out for petty thief, you're a fool and you deserve where you go as a black person.
Immediately, I mean, for you to just dilute yourself down to that level and as a black person to even accept that, you know what I'm saying? It puts you in the perspective that you shouldn't be. And you shouldn't be in the position you in because you're gonna end up just like one of these politicians.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have to bring it to your front door and let them know immediately. This is what we talking about right here. One of these, oh well, he shouldn't be stealing the beer. And you saying that you black?
Yeah, we had people call into our show and say that, and we put them in. Listen, People, yesterday's price is not today's price. We talk about Ward 3, brothers like Jeremy over in Ward 3 coming into city council. Him doing that. That's not us doing that. Showing up to city council. Bringing it's an issue he has, and then saying put that on the council agenda. You put that on.
Everybody had their hand up when he had the what was it? If you have any means, any connection with the dope dealer,
Yeah.
that you get what was it? That you get taken off like a certain position. I forgot.
I remember he said that no one in the city could have any relationship with dope dealers. Yeah, with dope dealers.
Yeah.
You had ordinance like that being pushed, and this is where accountability comes from. All 7 of the city council members are accountable. And when you abstain, that's just a nice way of saying I agree with you. Let me tell you all a secret. Stop believing an abstain means anything other than that. An abstain only means, I agree with you, but I don't want to say it really loud because my constituents don't like it. Start holding these politicians and your leaders accountable. A no means no. Look at it like rape. That's what it needs to be because your life, your resources are being raped. Those contracts flying out of city council appropriations every month in the 20, 30 million every month, right? That's what assault looks like. If you see, so tell someone no, and no means no. No doesn't mean, John, you say no to me when you're running for mayor. Then you say maybe when you get into mayor. And then you say take it, take it, take it once you become mayor. Because that's what you did to us with the water and the airport. You handled us. And we have to be okay saying that's not going to happen again.
Exactly. And
You got to get into these markets.
no, go ahead.
You got to get into these markets in Detroit where these people run to. That's where your leaders run when they want to toast what a good job they're doing because they know they can't say it to you. They can't come down to the stamp so I ain't grilling and talk about, hey, I did a great job. Where, sir? Please point to it. So they go to Detroit, they go to DC, they're down U Street. But I got friends down there too, and so do you. Make sure they ask them questions. Hey, come in, Justice Gibbs. Were you really sitting in that city? Were you really sitting in the city council? And a white man named Ted Hennepin said that your whole black city of 100,000 plus people have a culture of not paying. And not only did you sit there quietly, but you said you liked the water authority bill and you abstained.
This nigga
Is
scared.
that real? I knew this platform switch was gonna bring on a different young man. But is that really what you did? Was Crudup, who's part of the mayor's transitional team, in that, a part of his stuff? Was he in that room? Was the mayor in that room? Was your council person in that room when you were told that you just don't want to pay your bill? You know what we've been through. I'm not about to go back through what we've been through. Siemens, then putting meters up and then handing it over to Jackson Tex and asking them to connect the computerized meter they knew they'd have no chance of doing. I worked for the water department, Jackson Water. Didn't make it too long. I'm fine with that.
I mean, I read some horn said that 4,000 people didn't even have an account.
That the 4,000 people don't have an account, and that's where the problem's coming from. No, the problem is coming from 92-year-old ladies with one sink that run a stream every day getting $3,000 bills, and you telling them, F you, pay me. That's where the strain's coming from. And your mayor's talking about, well, there are 4,000 accounts that don't have us, so that's the problem. No, that's not the problem. The problem is that your people are being told, pay me, and I don't care whether you understand where this $7,000 bill comes from. I don't care if you understand. Pay me or I'll cut it off. Why do you think the water authority is so happy to get a hold on that? So you mean to tell me, Ted, these people are paying the bill and they don't understand it? Yes. You're talking about $1,000. Now, we're not talking about an extra 20, 30. You're saying you're putting an extra 1,000 on these people's bills and they're paying it? Man, they're raising money, they're doing everything because they love each other. It's crazy. It's crazy. You can say anything, you can pluck it. They love each other. Well, how are you able to do that? How are they not able to see? That's when you got to make it make sense. But the leaders, that's on them. That's what Ted probably does. That's on them. I'm doing my due diligence. And to a degree, those people are right. Where's the red line is what the young man asked earlier today on Make It Make Sense on 90.1 show. Where's your red line? You've had a mayor that your meter has gone from here to here. This is right before the election. I will make sure the water system comes back to Jackson. We'll never get that water system back, and you better just accept it. We're ready to move on to making downtown Jackson Partners the premier owners of this city in terms of contracts and money. That's where you've gone. And then you were called fickle and uneducated and said you should be happy with the crumbs. Now we understand that. I just didn't know the crumbs would be this thin.
Man, at this point, I don't even think they crumbs. I think it's dirt.
Yeah, I don't think it's doo. And you have to say it that way. because you're getting something that's making you sick. You're not getting. I ride by what was supposed to be the state park for the young people. I'm like, they just have nothing. No basketball hoops, no school programs. As a matter of fact, schools are shutting down. We got another school, I want to say Wingbar, another school set to shut down in 30 days. I'm curious to see if one of these PWIs will buy that up, because that's what the Redeemer School is now. They're PWI.
Yeah. I gotta say this, man. I gotta commend about the black women and black men out here that still bringing kids into this world, knowing we're going through all this. Because you got to be a strong person to know that you're going through this and you still bringing life into this world. So I salute to y'all. Let me put that out there.
Yeah, and listen, you are heroes. We're in a place where we don't have time. We've got to bring it, but we're in a place where eugenics is something real in Mississippi. The black problem, the slave problem is something real. The Mississippi hysterectomy, the syphilis campaigns. We know that there are folks that want to thin our numbers here, and right now they're even more active than ever. So we've got to start readjusting who our heroes are. And I know you don't like it, but that sister, that brother in that pristine suit, you got to understand the difference between a noose and a necktie. That's something Big Shogun, rest in peace, used to say. And I'm not going to claim these Negroes don't know the difference between a noose and a necktie. And I wish he was here now to repeat that to you all, because I think you're taking a lot better from him than from me. But your leaders out here thinking them suits and them pretty dresses, and then being able to ride into Madison and get seated. They selling your whole city away, from here to Greenville to the Delta. They're selling it all away so them white folks let them get a seat at the table. But when they got there, they realized there wasn't enough room for you all. So they had a choice to make. I'm going to eat, or I'm going to push back from the table, and I'm going to let them know what happened. I'm going to raise the alarm, and we're going to work back like we've always done. And 99.999% of them have decided to sit down and eat without you. And that's why you see Mississippi with the largest black representation in our political arena, with the least amount of progress. And that's not their fault. But if we're not making any progress, why hasn't our leader told us you need to start creating your own hospitals? We see what's happening. They're going to stifle you all together. Why aren't they telling us it's time to start homeschooling so you all can it's time to start creating schools in some of these other churches so you all can take advantage of these vouchers? If it's just that we're going to lose, why aren't you telling us to build our own grocery stores? And that's what you're saying every day, if we're just going to lose. You know why you're not?
Just to hear that, man.
Just to hear it from you. Heads up, there's a fire and I don't think I can put it out.
Whew. Just to hear that from a black representative.
I would feel great for a black representative to say, hey guys, I think if we don't come up with our own hospitals, our own maternal care, I think our numbers are going to drop soon. But they don't tell us that. Because there's just as much money in hope as there is in dope. It's up to the person selling it on whether they're good or bad. Hope is a very lucrative business. Very lucrative. Faith without action is dead. Hope is a very lucrative. Hope is that middle point between faith and action. Got you believe it. But we're not going to action.
The old dirty clergy.
Yeah. Clergy can be Muslim, Christian, the old dirty clergy, because that here we know it's Christian because that's been the restrictions that we had. We had to be tied to the King James Bible and certain things when we were practicing Christianity well before barbaric people came into context with it, right? So that's there. But yeah, you I mean, you either have to stand up for yourself or your children continue to go. And we are, the South is where the legends live. And you've got to understand, in Mississippi, a woman with 12 children is more of a hero than a congresswoman who does nothing for her people.
I'm talking about raising them all.
I'd rather be in Chapel Ridge, I'd rather be in Rebel, I'd rather be in Sub 2, I'd rather be in Vernon Dish. There's more heroes there I see every day than in our Congressional Black Caucus. And I know that you can be heroes, Congressional Black Caucus. I know all of you black politicians in Mississippi can be heroes. But right now, that woman who's raising her children with 3 or 4 maybe different fathers, and you want to sit up there and dump on her, but she's breathing life back into the black community. When folks sitting over there in Cleveland, Mississippi, and other places have been working on eugenics since slavery ended.
I'm gonna have to raise 4.
And you think we're stupid enough to believe that the hero is the woman that tells us, well, listen, I'm the only black woman here and I've stayed, I've made it. Or the man that says, listen, that we've been fighting against this since Dr. King and they did a thing for us. At least that woman raised children through those obstacles. What have you done through your obstacles? 40 years you in office. And all you can do is scare us every year. White boogeyman coming. You better vote for me. What you gonna do for us? I'm gonna stop him from coming. Okay, I get that, but what's the plan to stop him? The plan to stop him. I got to be there to stop him. I get that, but what do you want to do to make it better for us? Listen, you're asking too many questions. You must not want to stop the boogeyman. And while that's happening, there's thousands. Man, you know how many young people we talk to from little cities throughout Mississippi that want to go back home and represent their people? The young lady, I'm not going to say where you work, young sister, but the young lady coming from right outside of Cleveland told me, Miss Tariq, it's just, she 19-year-old student at JSU. She said, it's just that the people there a transition into our digital home, which has been, believe it or not, well before 90, you ever saw us on 90.1.
Yeah.
I'll be very honest.
Yeah.
But as we come back home, you know, this is a platform that's going to allow us to continue to reach out, not just to those of you all that want to hear what's happening, but to those of you all who have power to say something. And if you see something, say something. The wool being pulled over our eyes in front of us. This is happening real time. And don't be shocked at the fact that we let you know Downtown Jackson Partners put all this money behind, and now Downtown Jackson Partner is benefiting from it. Gabriel Prado supported him. Now Gabriel Prado is benefiting from him. William Herring supported him. Now William Herring's company that does trust care is rumored to have gotten the new urinary contract at the airport, even though his mother is a Republican that helped overturn abortion. Most things most Republicans don't privy to. But in John Horns, Jackson, they get to come right in. Nick Lott served more governors that hurt Jackson through policy than most people I see. But Nick Lott gets to bring our police chief and traverse her around town. While Jackson Police Department, Nick Lott is the director of communications, blocks the JPD page every time Brackley's on there so people can't talk to her. Now, this is a woman who is basically a black power police chief. Broke up a racist ring in Charlottesville, Virginia. Words of her own. The police department doesn't need to be reformed. It needs to be torn down and rebuilt. This is a woman, go look at that black arm of the law. Go Google her and look at all of her interviews. She says she believes that everybody in handcuffs needs to be treated with decency. This is the type of woman that goes. So I see a question from my brother Ron. What about our federal leaders who are pushing the Secure America Act? That's the big highlight. That's the big highlight. But what we don't want to do,
Elaborate on what you mean by that.
you can elaborate in the comments on what you mean on that, right? And yes, we should pay attention to any act that's happening right now, specifically that. But what we want to do is ensure that we are not allowing them to deter the direction from what's happening right here, right? Because what we're dealing with is we're dealing with plantation Democrats who are aligning with the same people, brother, that you're asking about when you say federal and Secure America Act. So when you say Secure America Act, the bigger problem is that you've got a current mayoral administration that's aligning with the same people that are pushing the Secure America Acts. But what he's talking about is the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility, I believe, SAVE Act, which is a 25-26 legislative proposal aimed at securing federal elections by requiring proof of U.S. citizenship. And you let me know if I'm off here, brother. It seeks to restrict voter registration. We're going to talk about this. Remember the question about voting? All right. It seeks to restrict voter registration to those providing documentation such as a passport or birth certificate, and authorizes states to remove non-citizens from voter rolls.
So as in like voters getting purged and all that stuff like that.
A very important point.
That's something you actually touched on.
Yeah, it is. It is. Absolutely. So I think that or no, Cindy Hyde Smith is that the one she was behind. I think that A, that's horrible, right? B, so someone called into our show and said, attack the voters. They punched down. We didn't like that. They said, well, ask your voters who never vote what they get from not voting. And we said, we'll ask them that. And in response, we want to ask you what the voters over the last 20 years have got for voting for their legislators here in Mississippi. And so, my brother, you see, I read the act that you're talking about. I think it's a horrible act that needs to be defeated. And I think that's great of you to bring attention to. But let's talk a little bit about what those that we push. Where does voting apathy come from? Why are people not voting at record low numbers? Why are folks in Mississippi getting tired, and throughout the South and throughout the United States? Why are black folk not voting? See, we got a problem because the man that's making money off the vote is the man that every time something goes wrong and we ask that politician, why can't you fix this? What does he say? Because y'all don't vote. But you are in office. You know what that's akin to? That's akin to the person that's working at McDonald's and has all the fries, and you ask him, why didn't I get any fries? Because you didn't order it. Or you didn't know, you ordered your fries, because that's putting him in office. You didn't come back to the window and say, hey, where are my fries? You're just sitting there waiting for your fries, and they're not coming. And when you ask him, why didn't I get the fries I ordered? He tells you, oh, well, you didn't ask me again. So, what are we voting for? You hear us talk about Vernon. You hear us big up Fannie Lou. That's who we love. Our ancestors died for that vote.
Yeah, for the vote, but we have to transpire into, we can't just be leveled off at one thing like, oh, it's black excellence to just go out and vote. Nah, see, that's the problem. You have to know who you voting for.
Absolutely.
You have to tell me why I'm voting for you and tell me what you did.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
It's more disrespectful for Mayor Horn to have sat in the Senate for 30 years and let folks to do to Jackson what they're doing than it is for a black person to not vote. I said it. So voting is what we want. We bled for it. But stop trying to pass over, my people, what these folks have done with your vote. Now, you hear us read it, 601-387-2684. Different number, different platform, same Make It Make Sense Jackson. What have these folks done since Dr. King? Now, if they've done nothing for 40 years of substance, but you want me to look at the federal level, for what? For what? What you looking at the federal level for, with all respect? If you get anything that trickles down, your leadership's just going to agree with them. What you worried about Trump for when you got a baby Trump right here downtown? And we never have irresponsibly said things about people. Policy.
You referring to Tate Reeves?
I'm referring to Mayor Horn. Baby, Tate Reeves is a proud Trump. Tate Reeves is very proud. We're referring to Mayor Horn. So we've got to look at this together, and we've got to start being courageous enough to protect what was fought for. And thankfully, now we have a chance for you to interact with us, for you to come back on, for you to say your part. And one thing you're going to learn about us, we got to wind down here because we're getting that countdown, and we go a little long. We want to respect our new home because we want to come back a lot, right? But one thing you know about us is that we're going to continue to put out what's happening and hope we can get to a place where we can make better decisions. So if you're new to us, please don't take directness for negativity. Just replay that whole play. Go to We Believe Digital, go to their website, play that show back, and think that they say anything about anyone's personal life, or that they point out policy, decisions, and interactions that affect my life daily. And get rid of those feelings and join us on Thursday and Friday right here on We Believe Digital, 5:30 to 6:30, and we're going to talk real with no boundaries. Just you, the state of Mississippi, and what we can do to get what's ours and stop those plantation Democrats from selling us out and continue to fight this white supremacy that allows them to stay in those positions.
Right. And like we said before, this ain't always gonna be the one. This is just the way we communicate.
This is just a platform for us to get you on. We're gonna be there.
It says in your house one day.
That's right. That's right. Speaking out front. So guys, this is our honeymoon. This is us coming out. We wanted to do it the same day.
What you say?
Pause. You know how the young people say pause. This is our show debut, okay? And We Believe Digital was gracious enough to put us on after we had a show on earlier today because they believe in us, and we thank them for that. And we're going to make sure that we make them proud, because a network that's willing to put our face on it and let us move it forward along with the trajectory we want to move forward, they continue to show their morality. So as we end every show, for my co-host
Keanu Perry
and myself, Tarek Abdul-Tawwab, continue to make it make sense, Jackson. Continue to think critical. And join us now, not just Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays on 90.1 at 4 p.m., but now Thursdays and Fridays on We Believe Digital. We here. Continue to make it make sense, Jackson. Until next time, which is Monday at 4 p.m., we love you. We out.
And I'll add that for the next show, your 90.1 schedule.
Perfect.